Go to PressBoxOnline.com and register a youth team in your community for a chance to be highlighted as the PressBox Youth Team of the Month, sponsored by our friends at Sports Authority. Go to PressBoxOnline.com for all the details. And welcome back to Inside PressBox. With me now is my friend and our PressBox Ravens beat reporter, Mr. Joe Platania. And Joe, our photo of the week this week was Matt Burke. I would say about 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, it was almost a foregone conclusion by most folks that Matt Burke was going to walk into retirement. Were you caught off guard by his announcement that he wants to play, and he wants to play for the Ravens?
When I heard about the announcement that he was going to return to the Ravens, my first thought went to the first time I saw him at a cold weather practice. He came out onto the field in no sleeve, kind of the old Ted Kluszewski no sleeve kind of jersey and shorts. And this is a guy who's lived in the upper Midwest all his life, went to school at Harvard. He's familiar with cold weather. He loves the game. He loves what it has brought him, even though it's brought him a lot of knee injuries and a lot of other injuries. He's played 96 games in a row. He loves the sport. And I can't help but think, and maybe what has to do with this also, when he became a Raven not long ago, he had 4 kids. He now has 6. So maybe that had something to do with it too.
All right. Do you think, knowing Matt the way you do, not that you're best buddies or anything, but do you think the ring is the thing too? He really knows that this team is close.
Yeah, what Minnesota's gone through in its history, coming close to Super Bowls and being in Super Bowls and losing them, I think he knows he's with a pretty special group of guys, albeit a bit aging, but still, he wants to have that one more shot, just like so many other guys you could name on this team.
All right. What about the retirement of Ricky Williams and how it came about? Who was it? It was Bill Parcells said something or wrote him an email about, leaving it, don't leave too much on the field, maybe it's time or something. All of a sudden he announces it. Would it shock you as we got closer to training camp if he didn't say, hey, I'll come back?
That wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, 18 years covering professional football, and Ricky Williams himself telling a Miami radio station, with me, who the heck knows? And he used some more colorful language than that, but it really wouldn't. I mean, he just sort of materialized as a Raven at the tail end of his career, and then all of a sudden, with 1 year left on his contract, he decides to walk away. But a very mercurial individual, as is Ed Reed, because it seemed publicly he was wavering, although there was never a doubt in my mind.
I don't think there was any doubt.
Never a doubt in my mind that Ed Reed was going to come back. But with Ricky Williams, nothing should surprise anyone.
Explain to us, it's also been a foregone conclusion by all the pundits that Ben Grubbs was going to be bye-bye. Now, he still may be bye-bye, but John Harbaugh and Ozzie Newsome and Pat Moriarty and Steve Bisciotti aren't going to let him go without trying to reel him in.
Yeah, it's usually their objective to sign their own guys, and that's Ozzie Newsome's own words. We want to get our own guys back. And as recently as November, I was thinking and writing that with all the defensive players coming up for free agency on March 13th, that Ben Grubbs would be the odd man out. I was thinking along those same lines, but then again, you start to think the line really coalesced when he returned from the toe injury in Week 7, and he's a first-round draft pick. Now, they're not going to give up on any of their draft picks, let alone the first-round guys.
How do they work it out financially, though? Do you see there's any way? He's not going to supposedly give us a hometown discount. These guys can't do that in the NFL.
Not really, and you got to go back. He's an Auburn guy. Ozzy's an Alabama guy. That's going to play into it at some point. But Ben Grubbs, like I said, the line played better and seemed to come together when he came back to the team. And it's just that the team has said they're not going to sacrifice defense for offense. And there are a lot of key defensive players who are coming up for some form of free agency. Is the money going to be there? Are they going to need to release the Lee Evans and Chris Carrs of the world to get that cap room?
Lee Evans, much maligned since that play, and I honestly, I know it's a play that changed their ability to get into the Super Bowl, but I prefer to give that guy the guy with the Patriots, a lot of credit for a savvy play. It seems like everybody just wants to toss him aside. Now, if he's a cap casualty, is he a cap casualty that could be re-signed under the right circumstances, or have they made up their mind that play is indicative of something that they don't want?
I think it's a bit of the former of what you said. I mean, you always try to work the numbers. The salary cap is everything. And if they do release them, same what they did with Heap and McGahee and all those guys from last year, they would want to re-sign him at a lower rate. I mean, I've pointed this out in print and on our site.
He's not going to get more money. He's not going to get what his contract calls for this year by anybody else if he's released. So
no, I don't think so. But I think Ozzie did a very smart thing. When the Ravens first moved to town, the salary cap and free agency were not in place when the Baltimore Colts left. So Ozzie kind of gave the local media and by the conduit, the fans, the 3R approach to what is done during this time of year. You either release the player, reduce the salary, or restructure the contract. So that's how things...
3Rs, I like that.
Yeah, Ozzie did a very shrewd move in stating that in both the 96 and 97 offseason. So this is just another occasion where we're going to have to put that knowledge to use here.
Last question for you, and seriously, folks, this guy's blog has more information about the Ravens day to day than anything in town. I just want to say it. It's not always the way, it's not always as short form as some websites or blogs, but Joe's got all the information. Tell me about Tyrod Taylor and Billy Cundiff, or actually, those positions, quarterback, backup quarterback, and field goal kicker. We got about a minute.
Yeah, usually the Ravens do take 4 quarterbacks to camp. I mean, we've seen the likes of an Ortiz Jenkins or a Tim Hasselbeck, who's now doing pretty well on TV, as camp fodder, just camp bodies. But I think with the Cundiff situation, obviously, he set a Ravens single-season record, missing 10 field goals, and of course the big miss in the postseason. So the competition that Cundiff gets is going to be more substantial than what Flacco and Tyrod Taylor are going to have.
All right. Got 30 seconds. Matt Burke's decision can change this first pick they make this year because there were rumors they wanted to draft the center.
Right.
Maybe now they back off of drafting a center with the number 1 pick.
Well, they'll draft whatever they need to draft because it's best player available, right player, right price.
All right. Joe, thanks. Thanks for teaching us the lesson about the 3 R's. We'll be back in just a moment to wrap things up, so don't go away. Inside PressBox is presented by Friedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. Go to Friedmont.com now for all of your mortgage needs.